This is the introduction to the modified tools of AutoCAD. This is the home tab of the ribbon, and this makes up the ribbon. And we'll be focusing on the modified panel, which is right here. So what I'll be doing is I'll be manipulating this existing drawing using all the modify tools, the modify icons. The first icon I'll use is the move. So I'll hover over that. It shows the move icon, a little explanation on how it works. So I'm going to select move. I'm going to select this item with the window. Now you notice that the window, what I'm doing right now is implied windowing. So if I select somewhere where there is nothing, implied windowing takes place. So this window that is blue as I move from left to right is called the window. And for the window to select something, it has to be completely within the window. This is a crossing window as I move right to left, and it's green and has a dotted edge. Whatever this window touches, it will select. So those are the two kinds of different windows that we have to work with here. The crossing window and the window. So I'll select this with the window, and it'll show that it's selected. I'll right click to move on to the next point. You'll notice down here in the command line it asks for a specified base point. So I'll just pick a point, doesn't even matter where. I'll pick a point and you'll notice that my piece is moving. I can make use of two things here. Down here I can turn the polar tracking on, and then I can make use of the tracking that's set for 90 degrees. So I can use that, or I can turn the ortho mode on, which forces me horizontal and vertical. So if I wanted to just move this to the right or to the left and replace it or make it closer, I can. That's the move command. There's a thing called grips. What happens with grips is if you're not in any command and turn whatever you selected hidden, then you can manipulate this with these grips boxes. I'm going to select this broken piece right here with the grips, and then I'm going to grab this endpoint and I can move it around. Turn off the dynamic input so I can see it. So I can change the location of these lines with the grips boxes. I hit escape to close the grips boxes. Now I'll do a rotate. So this is the rotate command. I'll select that. I'll select the whole thing with the window. Right click to move on to the next step. I'm going to snap to the center of the circle, and you'll notice that everything is rotating. But my text is staying horizontal. That's a switch that we can turn on or off. I can type a value in. I'll type 45 degrees, and I've just rotated this piece 45 degrees. This is the copy. I'll select this with a window. Right click to move on to the next step. It's asking for a handle point. I'll pick this point, and then I'll pick another point and enter, and I've just made a copy of this original piece here. Here's the mirror command. I'll select that. I'll select both of these items here. Now I need to move on to the next step. Now it's asking for a mirror line. So I'm going to pick this point right here. I'm going to turn ortho on. So I'm drawing horizontal lines, and I'm going to draw this line over here. Pick again. It asks me, do I want to erase the source object? I'll say no. So I'll just enter for that. And it just mirrored these features up to here. Stretch. So I'm going to grab the stretch command here. I'm going to zoom down into this area right here. Now the thing with stretch is you have to use a crossing window to perform the stretch command. So I'm going to pick right here, and I'm going to include the dimensions along with this selection. And so you'll notice what happens with the stretch is the dimensions are going to change to accommodate the size change that's happening with the feature that I'm stretching. So I right click to finish selecting what I'm going to stretch. I'm going to pick a point here, and I'm going to move horizontally to the right. Well, let's put a value in of 40. And so I'll stretch that feature 40 to the right. Now you'll notice that my dimensions moved with it. This dimension changed from 140 to 180. This dimension changed from 29 to 69. So that's how stretch works. Scale. I'll select the scale right here, and I will take this portion right here and I'll select it for the scale. Right click to move on as it's requesting a base point. I'll snap to the center of this right here, and then I'll put a value in of 0.5, which is scaling this down by half. I'm going to need to draw a line through the feature here. I'll draw it right through here. I'm going to select the trim. I want to trim this feature back to the top and bottom of the base of this bracket. So I'm going to select this line and this line as cutting edges. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to select this and this. Enter to finish, and I have just trimmed that line back to these edges here. I'll go to extend. There's extend. I want to extend this line up to this edge here. So I'm going to select this as the edge that I want to extend to. Then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to select this to extend it up. Right click to finish. That's extend. Fillet. So I'm going to select this fillet right here. I'm going to go R on the keyboard for radius, and I'm going to put in 3 millimeters as the radius. And now I'll zoom into this area right here, and I'm going to select this line, and it puts the fillet right there. I right click, and I can do it again, and that's fillet. Chamfer. And so I'm going to put a chamfer on this other side over here. So I'm going to put D for distance for my chamfer, and let's put in 3 millimeters. Now I'm going to put the chamfers on these corners here. So I'll pick this line, and that puts a chamfer on. I'll do it again. Pick this line, that puts a chamfer on. Array. And I'm going to select this right here. Select the objects, specify the opposite corner, and you'll notice it's making an array right here. So I'll pick there, and that wants me to pick the distance. I'll pick there, and I've just made an array of that pattern right there. Polar array. And I'm going to select this feature right here. I need to specify the center point, so I'll come to about here. I'm going to put the number of items at 8, and I'll bring that around. Angle to fill 360, which is what it says down here. I'll just enter for that, and then I've just done a circular array of that feature right here. Erase, self-explanatory. I'm going to select the erase right here. I'm going to delete that array, and I'll delete this array. Explode. Explode is for blocks and features that are inserted in that come in all as one unit. I have nothing in here to explode. Offset. I'll select offset. I'll come down to this line right here. I'm going to put a distance in of 5 millimeters. I'm going to select this line, and it will offset a parallel line 5 millimeters away. I'll do it again, that's offset. This is break. And what break does is I select a line. It treats the point that I picked as my first break point, and if I come over here a little bit further and pick again, it will put a break in the line. Let's join. So I will select this line, and then select this line, enter, and it just joined those lines back together. That ends the Modified Tools introduction.